a storm just rolled through my house with a lot of rain, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning. No rain in the forecast here for the CORE Xfinity Series, but there's certainly going to be a lot of thunder here, and Miles is on the prowl, and I'm sure he's going to be taking a look at some of these drivers here and tearing up their hopes and dreams. CRN's coverage here of the CORE Xfinity Series as we are live from the Dover Motor Speedway, and if you're looking to see a good race, well, you gotta look a little hard. Heavy fog out here tonight for a little late afternoon here fog as well. I mean, this is set to afternoon here for Dover, but the fog has not lifted from the morning, and it is thick, and it is going to be a little tough to see, at least from the blimp view. We'll be able to see these cars on track once we get a little more zoomed in, but some crazy conditions here. I mean, it's one of the few tracks that we go to that's concrete, but I mean, you got concrete skies right now. It's just it's a crazy thick atmosphere right now, but these drivers are ready to put on another show, and certainly look to kick off some of the bad feelings that Talladega brought last week. But Justin Mons ended up getting the win there, catapulted himself up to the top of the point standings as well. We'll get into that in a second, but Carl Hamburg joined in the booth by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, we are here at Dover. I know it's one of your favorites here in real life and in sim. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little rundown of Dover here?
Yeah, a little rundown of Dover. I mean, it's the monster mile. If you've been there, there's not a bad seat in the track. It's fast, it's high mount, it's challenging. You can run multiple lines here. You just got to be careful. And the drivers are really going to have to focus on not getting too heavy on that throttle on the exits, and you know, obviously entering, because that when you get too heavy on the exit, you're going to meet that wall, and this track pretty much self-clears itself, so you got to be really careful around here. So these drivers are definitely going to have their hands occupied here tonight as they're getting ready here for qualifying.
Yeah, if you tuned into UCRL last week, the series that comes on right here after Xfinity, the CORE Xfinity Series, they ran their Xfinity Series here last week, and it ended up being a very good show there. It's one that can certainly get spread out, and tire degradation is certainly going to play a key part, as well as it's going to be interesting to see how the strategies play out with these guys having only half the fuel that UCRL runs with, so they'll have to play the strategy out right. And Jimmy, this has got to be the toughest pit road to get onto, to get off of. I mean, just all in all, pitting here anytime under green, I mean, heck, even under caution it can get a little sketchy, but under green, oof.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some pit strategy going on. I mean, you're looking at, I think UCRL was doing almost 60-ish laps or so. So half the fuel, we're looking in the 30s, Carl, and 100 laps, we're looking at least two pit stops under green if they were to go that far. So I'm sure if a caution comes out, there are a lot of drivers are going to take advantage of that. There is a big difference with tires here. So I mean, they do wear off here quickly, and you're going to see it only takes about 5 or 6 laps, and those tires wear right down. So it's going to be an interesting one here. They're going to have their hands full. It's going to be a good show, and I hope everybody out there is going to be just as impressed as we are as these drivers continue to put on a good show week in and week out.
So we'll take a look at the standings after last week, and it is Justin Mons on top of the boards. Shane Therian still in the rookie status. That's why you don't see him in any other divisions, but he's in second place, only 9 points back. Daniel Wiles rounding out the top 3 overall in 14 points back. Leading the silver division is Sean Dunaway by 14 points over David Tilford. And then in the bronze division, it is John Crane by 29 points over Dan Phelps. But once again, we got another good-sized field out here. Looks like we got high 20s, maybe even crack the 30s before this qualifying is over here. But good-sized field again. And, you know, again, as you see, we'll take a look down here at the view from Barney. And you can see the cars, you can see the turn. I mean, there's enough enough that you can see, but man, I would not want to be sitting in the nosebleed seats here tonight. You might not be seeing too much of the action.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's not a bad seat in the house. I mean, on a clear day, you can see all the way around, the whole race. So it's really fun to watch the drivers get around. But blurry symbols out there, cars going by, but it doesn't take long for them to get around here, that's for sure.
No, not at all, as these drivers are out there in qualifying right now. Qualifying times and race times are going to be around the 22 to 23 second range, so they're very quick around this 1 mile high banked concrete oval, and it's very treacherous. If you're new to Dover for some reason, coming off the corners, that banking flattens out, doesn't flatten out all the way, but it flattens out enough that it gets really, really sketchy coming off of turn 2, coming off of turn 4, and you'll see that back end really want to step out, or if you're coming down from the bottom, you'll see the entire car want to push from the bottom all the way up to the top, and it is absolutely paramount that you got to keep that car off the wall, because as Jimmy said, that this is a self-limiting track. The entire track is banked, and if you make any kind of incidents, you're probably going to bounce off that outside wall and slide down across the track, which can be good if the rest of the field is far enough away and they can just scoot around you on the outside. But if you're towards the front of that pack and cause a caution, you're probably going to catch up a melee. So we'll see how these drivers survive out here at the Monster Mile, and I'm sure Miles the Monster is going to be looking to grab some cars here tonight. The aforementioned mascot here at Dover, but we are just about finishing up with qualifying. Last week, as we said, at Talladega, certainly, I mean, was your typical Talladega. It's just a chaotic race. It got a little rough for some drivers. Ended up having to call it an early night from too many wrecks. But it was just, you know, Talladega being Talladega. It's kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes you get a really clean race. Sometimes you get a really, really bad one. I think last week kind of fell somewhere in the middle there. But again, good race for some, bad race for others. But I think a lot of people are happy that that one is now done and dusted, off the schedule, as we hit race number 4 here tonight. But we still have the ever-looming road course later on in the schedule at Road America coming up in 3 races time. We are done with our qualifying here. Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of tonight's starting order?
I'll get ahead and run down the starting order, and we'll start off on the pole with Alan Elwood, followed by Mike Moultrie Jr., Danny Ware, Nico Garcia, Ethan Workman, Joey Stone, AJ Roderick, Kelly Pointer, Josh Klinger, and Tal Owen there up there for the top 10. Then Shane Therian, Daniel Wiles, Dakota Camper, Sean Dunaway, Joe Sullivan, Matt Crockett, Chase Waldron, Dave Tilford, Kevin Foster, and Kevin Peak will be in the top 20. Then John Crane, Dustin Phelps, Dan Phelps, Cheyenne Cada, Terry Jensen Jr., Jeremy Gainey, Justin Mounds, and Jake Browder. Now, a few of those drivers, Carl, I believe, are only in the back because of last week's incidents.
Yeah, actually, just one of them, your last place starter there, Jake Browder, is on a bit of probation here, so he had to start from the back of the pack after last week. But really surprising, Justin Mons, winner last week, starting second last year tonight. And I mean, it's a track where you could definitely make passes. We've seen it, and we've seen it in UCRL last week. You can make passes on the track, you can get it done, but it is sketchy. It is scary coming through the field. I mean, it's scary coming from 5th to 1st, but coming all the way from back there, 26, 27, 28. I would not want to be that driver. I would not be a fan of that at all. But
he's really going to have to have some patience and watch out as he works his way through the field.
Yeah, and it may not be a situation where he decided to start from the back. It could have just been trying hard in qualifying and just brushing that wall a little bit, and it's a wrap from there. But we are ready. These drivers are set to do 100 laps here tonight, and they're on pit road, so we can get a little better angle so we can actually see some cars out there. But these drivers are about to hit the track, and man, 100 laps here at Dover, it can go by very quick, but for some it can be just a long grueling 100 laps here. If you're not a fan of the track, if you're a little sketchy around tight corners, I mean, the track is wide enough. You can go 3 wide here in the corners if you so choose. I don't recommend it, and it's going to get really, really scary coming off those corners. It's hard enough holding on to that car 1 wide coming off of some of these corners, but even 2 wide, we'll see how these drivers can handle it. But 28 cars are going to take the green flag here tonight. They're all getting set, coming around turn 3 and 4. We'll get the track back up there for you. And we are ready for some more CORE Xfinity Series action here on CRN. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please hit that like and subscribe, get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. But it's time to send it down to Barney to get that green flag waving.
Green flag, green flag.
And we are racing at Dover Motor Speedway. A little bit of a rocky start for some of the guys in the back, but they are all going to make it through and into turn number 1. Already side by side, battling for the lead. Moultrie not wanting to give it up there on the outside, fighting Elwood hard, going down into turn number 3.
Inside line is usually the place to be early on and later on, and then tough to start winning up to. You're going to see drivers kind of floating up the track a little bit and maybe not tempting fate with the outside wall because the car does it really fast and often turns wants to beat those walls. So you're going to see the drivers that are more comfortable with being up along and on their dimensions of their car, and hopefully they got the FOB where it's about as close as possible to the real thing, so you can really get a good judge on your distance from the wall, so you don't scrape yourself.
That's surprising, seeing that the drivers pretty much single file out right away, and maybe learning from some mistakes last week and just kind of settling in here pretty early. But it is Alan Elwood at the front of this pack in the number 5 Garage Beer machine. Mike Moultrie in second, Nico Garcia, Danny Ware, Ethan Workman, your top 5. Joey Stone, AJ Roderick, Josh Cleaner, Kelly Pointer, and Shane Therian rounding out your top 10. But nice little start here for the boys in the CORE Xfinity Series, and it's good to see them just kind of get single filed out here, spread out. Again, as the tires start to wear, you'll see some of the cream of the crop start to work their way towards the front and make some passes as you can get it done here. The low line is preferred, but you'll see, maybe some guys start venturing up towards that middle line, trying to save a little bit of tires at some point, and that will open the door for some passing one way or another. But good run so far up here out front for Alan Elwood, but Mike Moultrie not letting him go, and now starting to put a little pressure on that 5 out front. Taking a look back in the field, Mons has moved himself up to 22nd position already in that 41, so good start here for the 41 machine as he tries to work his way up through and try to go back-to-back here, which is something that just is not easy to do here with the amount of drivers out here, the talent in this field. And I mean, we've seen 3 races so far, 3 different winners with Joey Stone, Nico Garcia, and Justin Mons, your winners.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of glancing to the field and just kind of seeing how everybody's doing. I'm good racing up the field, kind of back there with Joe Sullivan back there in 14th spot, and he had was racing with the 83 Chase Waldron there, pretty good. But Chase is at 4 spots already from the rip. And obviously Jake Potter in the back, and then number 74 needs to work his way up through the field as well. He's up 3 spots from starting in the back, so long night for some of these drivers. Justin Bond's up 5 spots, so we talked about how he needs to take his time and work his way. 100 laps out here. We're only in 9 laps now, so it doesn't take long for him to go away. But like I said, with a half a tank of fuel, Carl, these drivers will be looking right around that 30, 35 lap mark. So I'm going to guess at least 2 pit stops.
On board here with Josh Klinger to take you on a lap around at Dover here. Foggy Dover, you can see it's definitely a little bit easier to see in the car, but still just an ominous haze over the track right now. But these guys handling it so far, well, I should say guys and girl out there, as Cheyenne Katie back there in 27th position, getting some experience this year and just logging some laps right now. But we do have a change for the lead, and we'll take you back real quick and show you that pass as Mike Moultrie sets up Alan Elwood with a great run coming off of turn number 4 as they battle down the front stretch. You can see that preferred inside line. Elwood not put up any kind of battle as Moultrie dives in there into turn 1, and new leader out front is the 84. As we take you back live, once again on board with Josh Klinger, and you see how close you can stay with the cars in front of you here, but it's just setting up those passes is tough, and you see Moultrie had to kind of work that high to midline just to kind of set up a really good run off the corner. And you can do that with those fresh tires, but once these guys, once these drivers get on a second run once they get some fuel, come out there with those used tires. If they decide not to take any tires in that pit stop, that's when it gets very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anybody not at least taking Wright's car. If they can manage to save their left sides on this track, I'd be impressed. But the track that my very first race, it was a pit strategy call by Ricky Rudd over Bill Elliott, which got in the way. But Ricky Rudd came in, took fuel only. And Elliott came out with 4 fresh tires, and man, was he on a mission to catch up. I think at the time it was the number 5 car. And it was just, wow, the laps he was putting in. I thought he was going to get him for the tire difference, you know. So it was good to see that out there, and to see how his strategy can work to your favor if you do it properly, if you can save the tires. But if you're out there beating these tires, like right now, they last about 10 laps and they start going away. So it's going to be a long, like 20 laps at the end of your fuel and then come back in. So I guess the drivers do have that going for them if they want to abuse their tires a little bit more. But maybe a league that runs full fuel where they'll have to twice as long. So before they're going to have to come in the pits anyways. But yeah, pit strategy I think is going to be a big one here, and he can save the tires. And he makes the right call. He gets the good entrances, and I hope he will practice that pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the toughest pit stop in all of racing, let alone on oval tracks, at least for me, is trying to make that entry. I mean, you can make it easily. You can just get down the bottom in turn 3, slow it down, drive on the apron all the way around. You will lose a good second and a half doing that, though. So if you want to get in there, you want to get in there fast. You want to not lose any time. You want to gain a little bit of time. You've got to be aggressive, and that car is going to be very aggressive back to you. So you got to be ready to wrangle that thing in. And I mean, this is a track, and it's so tough as we got a first caution here that you want to probably practice your pit entry as much as you're out there practicing laps. But we have a first caution here, trying to see. It looks like Dustin Felt's involved, but did see John Crane go into the pits as well, so not sure what the case was here. This is just an early pit stop. Yeah, John Crane just coming into pits here, so this was not what brought out the yellow. We'll take a look and see if it was Dustin Feltz, but this is already after the yellow came out.
Yeah, looks like Phelps got a little tight going coming out of the corner, bounced off the wall, and got into I think it was the 100. I'm trying to do a couple things at once. I'm trying to get set up for my plane ride to Richmond here. To go visit or go catch up with the drivers over there at UCRL. They take along another unique track that is going to be a little more challenging than Dover, I think, this week for them.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Phelps getting involved in anything, so it may have, unless you said Phelps, I thought you said Phelps, but yeah, Phelps getting into the wall here and bouncing off in front of Kevin Peak, and goes for a wild ride here on the front stretch, and that's how quick it can go wrong, and that was a hard impact, enough so that he had to jump in the pits from there. But that's going to put us under our first caution here, and pretty much the entire field coming into the pits here. But surprisingly, 4 deciding to stay out. Joey Stone, Justin Mons all the way from the back, now in second. Cheyenne Cada and Terry Jansen all electing to stay out at least for this lap. We'll see if they come in next time by, as we're already on lap number 20, so we're already a fifth of the way through this race, and you see how quickly the field starts spreading out. I mean, it wasn't getting close to lap car time yet, but I mean, they were taking up 3/4 of the track in just 20 laps. So this field will get spread out pretty quickly here, but it looks like these 4 are gonna stay out for this time by. Looks like everybody coming in only taking fuel, with the exception of some that are still in there getting some repairs done. I see Kevin Foster still in the pits. Not sure if that was a penalty that he was serving or what the case is, but looks like he is going to stay on the lead lap. I don't think I seen him involved in the wreck at all there, so Hopefully, just a pit road penalty that he can quickly serve and get back out there. But he's going to be at the back of the pack now, 26th position. John Crane, unfortunate time for the caution as he is going to be a lap down now. He is the only car lap down with Dustin Feltz still towing and getting back in the pits to get repaired before he comes out. So he's in a lucky dog position. Doesn't really scrape the wall there, catching back up to the field. But the field is doubled up here. Once again, we're going to get fired off here at the completion of lap number 21. It's going to be Justin Bonds and Joey Stone on the front row, Terry Jansen, Cheyenne Cada on the second row, Mike Moultrie, Alan Elwood, Danny Ware, Nico Garcia, Josh Klinger, and Ethan Workman are making up your top 10. Joey Stone is going to be the control car, and we will hop on board with him for this restart. If it will let me. There we go.
Trials and tribulations of SDK at some points in there.
I blame the phone.
I mean, probably. What a jump there by the 5. Alan Wood looking to get back up towards the front. Oh, caution.
Another caution here, and
bigger one.
this one looks like it's collecting a few cars. As just going to mention here, Joey Stone kind of working up through the throttle there. It's not just, jamming on the throttle here at the start of this thing. You have to be really gentle, but as you look back at the incident.
Up near Mike Moultrie was where it started.
And
try, let's see.
Bit of a bottleneck at the front.
Yeah, 100 trying to go below the 84.
Went 4 wide there. Gets tangled with the 20. And surprisingly, those guys save it, but it just kind of bottlenecks everybody. 48 gets into the back of the 75, and that starts the little bit of a melee there in the back as the 09 of Owen getting tangled up. And
ooh, Crockett took off the rear bumper.
Yep, and then Pointer. Teammates right there as Phelps tries to lock it up.
Pointer.
But that will put us under another caution here as we'll go back live. And surprisingly, at the front here, the drivers that stayed out last time are going to stay out here again as we are now on lap number 24. Quick little low caution right there. This is going to shake up too much here, but we do see a couple cars coming down into pit road and topping off, and I believe John Crane should be getting the lucky dog here unless somehow he was involved in the incident there, so he'll get back on the lead lap. And yeah, indeed, there you see the Mountain Dew number 11 going on by, and he will get his lap back, be able to pit and get back on the same stride as everybody else. But a few drivers there at the back coming into the pits, topping off, some getting some repairs done with Dan Phelps and his teammates getting involved there a little bit as well. Tal Owen involved, Matt Crockett involved. So about 6 cars involved in this incident here and a little bit of damage. And we'll see now if maybe the teammates a little fake out here, or are they actually going to be coming in? No, they will stay out here as Stone and Mons will still be in the lead of this race. And I think some of the drivers that stayed out there, maybe just a little bit of a rough start with those cold tires, those used tires. And again, that's where you heard, Joey Stone being the control car, but he even had to kind of feather the throttle a little bit and bring it up to speed, because coming out of here with that track kind of flattening out a little bit, even under slow speeds, it's going to get that car a little bit loose, and you have to be really cautious on restarts. It's one of the toughest places to restart here. Doesn't matter if you're the control car or not. If you're starting on the top or the bottom, it can get a little bit sketchy. And I think that's what kind of slowly bottlenecked everything up into turn number 1. And then 4 wide, again, can you fit 4 wide? Yeah, but no. So that's exactly what happened right there. But once again, under caution here on lap number 25. So we're going to be a quarter of the way through this race now. And it is Joey Stone at the front.
Yeah, so I just want to take special attention to Joey Stone and Moms up front, but Kada also working their way up front as well with Terry Jansen. So, obviously they have not come in the pits yet. So, trying to get that track position here early on, and it could pay out big dividends. But obviously, being newer to the series, it's a gamble. So hopefully the drivers around them, newer drivers, kind of realize who's around them and take it easy on them just a little bit, as we're only at lap 25 of 100 here at Dover.
Drivers should be doubling up this time by, and indeed they are. And we will get rolling up one more time. It's going to be Justin Mons, Joey Stone in the front row, Nico Garcia, Alan Elwood second row, Ethan Workman, Cheyenne Kada, Mike Waltree, Terry Jansen, Shane Therian, and Danny Ware going to round out your top 10 here for the restart at the completion of lap number 26. So I mentioned this is race number 4 for the series, which means that next week race we will already be halfway, and that is going to be at the unofficial home track here of CORE Kansas Speedway before we head into the second half of the schedule. And it is just, it's a gauntlet, and there's a lot of rough tracks there. There's a lot of ones that you're going to have some specialists showing up for sure, but this is a track right here that can certainly shake up the standings as well, and it's shaken up the field a couple times here already. But we're ready to get back under green, and it is Joey Stone at the front. He's your control car. He is back on the loud pedal, and we are racing again at Dover. Bit of a checkup on that inside.
There goes the cars.
And
01, 83, 101. Looks like Matt Crockett was involved.
Take a look back here at the restart. Looks like the yellow is not going to come out. I'm guessing because these cars are down on the bottom. You see just a major checkup right there. And some major carnage on the front stretch. Really, really surprised that the yellow did not come out for that one. But we are back here live, and Alan Elwood already jumping out to the lead of this thing, and we'll try and take a look back and show you the pass for the lead. You see Elwood already making his way around Justin Mons, and then puts a good run off of turn number 2, dives it into turn number 3 on the bottom, and he will regain the lead. You see Nico Garcia moving himself up to third place as well during that exchange. As we take you back live now with Elwood, and we've got quite a few that got tangled up in that mix-up there. And yeah, again, I mean, iRacing doing iRacing things, I guess. I mean, a major incident on the front stretch, but I guess because they were all off of the racing line, the caution didn't come out. I mean, that's pretty crazy to see that much carnage and no caution come out. But unfortunate for those drivers out there, as Alan Elwood is your leader out here. Nico Garcia working on Joey Stone. Now going to flash to the inside, side by side into turn number 1.
Gainey bounced off the wall. I don't know if you've seen that. I'm just watching around the track, but
I did not. I missed that one.
Yeah, he's got some right front damage down on that number 45. He's right behind Dakota Camper, and I don't know if it's affecting the car too much. You'll see if that 45 falls off. But yeah, he came off and he kissed that wall pretty good, enough to give him some right front damage. And you can get away with maybe once doing that. Definitely gonna throw a caution here for what I don't know yet.
I see the 74 flipping on the front stretch. We'll try and take a look back and see what brought this one out. And just catching the apron going sideways, and again, I guess because he spun up in the racing line, there was another car coming. That's why the caution came out there. But compared to the last one, I mean, that's night and day. No contact on the wall, just a spin, very nice 360. I mean, I give him at least an 8.7 on the 360 there. But no damage, nothing, and now we have a caution for that. So it makes total sense. Thank you, iRacing. That's perfect.
I mean, it makes sense. We're 1/3 of the way. So, you're going to see those drivers. I think everybody's going to come down and get new tires and fuel and whatnot. And you're going to I see some people probably take a chance and stay out there. Maybe want that lap lead. I see Joe Sullivan staying out. Looks like Gainey is going to stay out, and Kevin Foster, I believe. But everybody else coming down the pits, and this one here kind of makes more sense, especially if Sullivan, Gainey, and Foster have already come down and maybe got fuel and whatnot. So caution's kind of breeding cautions here kind of early, and I'm sure some don't want that, or maybe some coming in and take the fast repair. But it's a tough track, Carl. It really does take a lot of patience, especially when everybody's grouped up side by side. Everybody out here is this is a hobby, and they're out here trying to learn how to race a race car, and racing a race car is not the easiest thing in the world. I was talking to some of the fellow CORE members the other night, and how he has friends or family come over and they want to hop in his rig, and they're really surprised how difficult it is to go
just
left.
to get around the track. yes, exactly. I mean, everybody thinks it's just another game that you can just hop into and you can turn laps real easily, and no, not the case. Well, I tell you what, who these cautions have benefited the most clearly is that 41 of Justin Mons. I mean, he started way back in the back there. He was 7th place under this last caution when it came out here. Made his pit stop now, got fresh tires, and he essentially passed 20 cars for free. He is now up to 6th place, and looks like that's where he is going to restart this thing. So unbelievable, nice break of events here, and some good strategy calls. I mean, everybody was coming in there on that lap 19, and him and a few others decided to stay out, and that has certainly shaken up the order here quite a bit. But we are on lap number 35 here, so already through what would be the first cycle of pit stops, but certainly a lot of different pit strategies already going through here. Plenty of cars coming in now, since this was right at that 3rd mark, to get tires, but a few not taking tires as well. So we'll see how this plays out here, as well as the top 3 of Joe Sullivan, Jeremy Gainey, and Kevin Foster electing to stay out. And it looks like Gainey taking tires on his lap 19 pit stop. So you have somebody up there with fresh tires, but I believe Sullivan and Foster both out there with some used tires. So we'll see how long they can hold off the rest of that charging field.
Yeah, I mean, it was, they might have the fuel. The tires are really going to show, and but if these drivers don't show a little bit of patience on the restarts, and it's kind of like an accordion effect when we hear from Christopher Hamilton all the time that accordion is my favorite instrument, and he's true. It's true. It's just because of how long it takes for when somebody gets on the gas, everything kind of slinkies out, and then once they go in a turn, and it shrinks back together again. So he's not wrong by no means at all, and we see it a lot throughout all the leagues. So it's very hard to everybody step on the pedal at the exact same time and go as fast as they can when everybody's probably maybe not in the line they want to be in, whether they're stuck on the outside or stuck on the inside. So there's a lot of different factors out there. So I'm just hoping for a clean start for all these drivers here. We still have 22 drivers on the lead lap, and obviously the rest of the field has to make their way up. Drivers that are a lap down, you got Kevin Peaks, Sean Dunaway, John Crane, Matt Crockett, Dustin Phelps, and Jason Waldron. So a few drivers that were mid-pack now, a few laps down. But we're going to get started here real soon, as we're going to cross the line for lap 37 of 100. And Joe Sullivan's going to get a nice little jump there, out there in front of Kevin Foster.
Right on board here with Mike Moultrie, one of the drivers up there, leading some laps early, and you see how chaotic it is here on the restarts in the mid-pack. Starting back here in 21st, and just really tentative going through that first lap. Now getting to the inside here of Matt Crockett, heading down into turn number 3. But I mean, by the time lap 1 is done, he has lost a good 4 seconds to the lead here, as trying to work around Sean Dunaway. It happens that quick. I mean, you get a little bit of a rough start from some of the guys in front of you, and you have nothing you can do but check up, and all of a sudden he's going to work hard just to get back up through these places, but doing a good job here so far. You see 2 cars in front of him is Joey Stone, another one that was just recently leading and now is stuck back in the pack, came back in and topped off on fuel on that last pit stop, as did, actually no, Moultrie did not. He stayed back out there, but Joey Stone taking one more shot of fuel as a little bit of a power move there by Moultrie to the outside, but now he's going to have to shoot it up the middle, and Moultrie not taking any prisoners here. I'm getting a little too scared just hanging on board with Moultrie here, so let's pan out here a little bit and just watch the race from afar as he's got me clenching out here, and I'm just up here in the booth.
Yeah, you're clinching back there watching Moultrie go through the field. There's been a change for the lead, so Nico Garcia is now out front over Alan Elwood, Ethan Workman, Justin Mons, and then Shane Theory. And Joe Sullivan obviously dropping back just a little bit, and you had that feeling obviously with the used tires that he's going to fall back a ways, but you've seen how much lit the melee is in the second half of the field, but they're still up there in that front pack, and somebody just...
Yeah, Nico, our leader, Garcia...
blinked out here.
Still out.
Yeah, he's out. He is dropped down to due to a packet loss.
Oh, that is a horrible chance of luck right there. It's going to give the lead back to Alan Elwood, but that is going to be a big hurt for Nico Garcia in this race and in the championship. These drivers all do have one drop race that they can use for the season that'll automatically get taken off of their standings, so only 9 races will count towards their final standings. But I mean, of all things to use your drop race for when you're leading, I mean, of course you're going to have a race that you're probably going to have really terrible luck and finish deep in the pack, but man, that's you hate to see it, plain and simple. But he's still dropping down the order. I'm sure he's going to try and get back in as quick as possible, but that is just terrible luck there for the 26, but gives the lead here to Alan Elwood. Ethan Workman, haven't seen him at the front yet. He's been up there in the top 5 for a good amount of this race, but now you see him in 2nd place. Still going to talk to him about changing that number and getting the correct number on that car, but he is the 20 on the car, 25 on the timing and scoring, and number 1 in so many hearts out there, I'm sure. But Justin Mons now up into 3rd place after starting at the back of the pack. Shane Theory in 2nd place in the points, now finds himself right there in 4th place. So good run here early again by the 3. And this thing is starting to click away now as we're starting to get some more green flag laps in, with Roderick rounding out your top 5, and then you got Ware, Klinger, Wiles, Sullivan, and Foster up there in the top 10, as looks like Nico Garcia finally back in the session here, but he is 4 laps down, now coming back out of the pits, and probably going to go a 5th lap down here as the leaders are about to come on by. And again, you hate to see it. It happens to the best of us, and it doesn't matter if you have a great computer, a great connection, anything like that. It can happen, and it sucks when it does. But Nico Garcia gets bit by it here tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock on some wood. I've had pretty good success with not dropping a race while broadcasting, because it can happen to us too. So if we're out here, one night and all of a sudden it just shuts off, it's obviously not intentional, but internet does will cut off, or things happen when there's storms rolling through, and I kind of worry about that stuff. Because I do live in Florida, and we do tend to get some pretty heavy storms, especially in the July to November kind of area, where it can be possible hurricanes and whatnot. So I guess the best thing I can do is fire up the generator, and hopefully the lines are still at that internet. But we're gonna keep going here tonight. Right now, Alan Elwood out front over Ethan Workman, Justin Mons, Shane Thurian, and AJ Roderick for your top 5. As there's see Garcia is back out there obviously, and he's got some time. He's got some time to make up, so we'll see what happens here and how things work out if cautions come up, and see where we can get that 26, maybe a couple of them laps back.
I don't know who said or did Mike Mulcher wrong, but he's been driving like a pissed off teenager since this restart here. and he has gone from 21st on the restart up to 9th place already. As you see him on screen, they're working past both David Tilford and Kevin Foster and Joe Sullivan as well. And finds himself now behind his teammate, who is in 8th place right now, just in front of him, Daniel Wiles. Getting pretty close at the front. Looks like it's starting to settle out now as Alan Elwood starting to stretch his legs here a little bit at the front. As we are past the halfway point here, all these drivers are going to have to come in for at least one more pit stop, even if this thing goes green the entire way here. It's going to probably be pretty close here. Again, just judging off of what we seen last week with UCRL, we expect these drivers to come in the lap, the mid 60s for your lap. But again, you're coming in around 63, 64. You're not going to make it to the end. So these drivers are going to have to stretch it out to, at least the late 60s to be able to make this thing all the way to the end. But Alan Elwood leads the way right now with Workman, Mons, Therian, and Roderick, your top 5.
Yeah, I think the cars we probably need to watch for fuel and whatnot. It's going to be a good judgment. It's going to be those, Kevin Foster, Joe Sullivan, and Gainey out there that were been out there since lap 19. So those drivers will be the first ones to come in, and I'm sure they're hoping for a caution to come out anytime now, so they can get back on the same strategy as everybody else. As they have gained a few spots with the staying out there. Sullivan's up 3, Foster's up 8, and Gainey's up 12. So they're definitely doing it's probably a good judgment, a good call. Just right now they're hoping probably for a caution right around this time frame, right before the pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, if they stay green, they're going to have to come in the pits twice. I think they're going to have to come in these next couple laps to be able to fuel back up here, but they're going to need a caution to stay in the realm of this race, because you come in under green here and everybody else does not, you're going down a couple laps and your race is just about over. And right now these drivers, as you mentioned, Joe Sullivan, Jeremy Gainey, Kevin Foster, they're all in a tough spot right now, as the last pit on lap number 19. Not going to get home with one more pit stop unless, I guess I shouldn't say it about Kevin Foster. We've seen some just crazy, unexpected fuel saving from the 8s over the years, but I think it's a big stretch. Yeah, exactly. As we are on lap number 58 right now, and Elwood out to about a second lead right now.
Yeah, they are closing in on that 40 laps now. Obviously they got a few of those laps under caution, so we'll see how many more they can go. And I'm sure they're running their fuel calculators. It's really hard to obviously do all these fuel calculations and stuff on your own for these races. So a lot of drivers will use some overlays that have some calculations going on. And also iRacing has one in their back box if somebody doesn't use many overlays. So some people don't know about them, or some people are just not familiar with them, or whatever it may be. But if you're a driver out there in the series and you're interested in overlays and you don't use them, you can get with pretty much anybody inside of CORE, and they will, most people, I'm saying a good 95% will help you set everything up. But good work right now by Alan Elwood up there up front with Ethan Workman, Justin Mounds, Shane Therian, and AJ Roderick for your top 5. Justin Mounds, he had to start in the back, but he's up 24 spots, so it's kind of an impressive call.
Now listen, when it comes to fuel strategy, we're basing it off of what we've seen in another series where they run full fuel, they run different setups. So don't tell my wife, but we could be completely wrong. We may be completely wrong when it comes to the calculation there. So they could be able to go 40 laps, and maybe those drivers that stayed out there on lap 19 are still good to go. So we'll see how it all plays out here. A little sketchy moment there for the 3 as he's able to work around the 101 getting close and maybe getting a little wall there for Kevin Peak. But we will keep it green here. We are on lap number 63 now. So getting close to that point where we are confident that they'll be able to come in for one more pit stop and make it all the way to the end. So it looks like those drivers that have been on lap number 19, they see the first one coming in. Joe Sullivan peels off and comes into the pits, but again, I mean, he made a good long run on that fuel right there, so he should actually be good to go. I mean, if I'm just doing some quick calculations myself here, he should be good to go all the way to the end of this race, but I'm not sure what exactly happened to him. If he ran out of fuel and had to drop in, or no, that's not how you enter the pits, and that is why Dover is very, very tough getting in the pit lane. That's absolute destroying the car, and he's going to go more than 2 laps down now, so he's going to have to tow that into pit lane, already down 3. Jeremy Gainey now in the pits, as he is the next one. We just need Kevin Foster yet to come in, and that will complete the cycle of the guys that pit on lap number 19. The rest of them are probably going to try and stretch this thing out even further, as, I mean, you see how tough he's getting into pit lane. It just takes one car missing it a little bit and causing a caution, as you see Foster very aggressive coming into pit lane. That is a very good entry, as we're taking a look at the 8 coming in there, as he got in there very quickly and kept it off the barrels. It's kind of important. We'll talk to Joe. I know he's getting his feet wet on the roadside, but he knows enough oval that he knows it's not a good entry. Hitting those barrels at the end of pit lane. It doesn't make you go faster. I mean, if they got water in there, it might clean the car off a little bit, but
Oh, it's been so long since I've done like an actual oval race. Like I'll get out there and get some laps in, like setting up cameras pre-race, but yeah, I don't get the chance to practice in the pit entries like we talk about all the time. That's so important, and that's why I would probably do the same thing that Jay did. So just a minor mistake there, but getting about that time of night as these drivers are winding down. But I'm gonna have to cut out of here and catch my flight over to Richmond and wish the drivers here at CORE the best of luck to the finish.
Absolutely. Be joining me as soon as this one is over, as UCRL will be running at Richmond Raceway tonight, and it should be a fun little short track there to broadcast. And I know Jimmy's happy to be in the booth for that one for sure.
Always.
But certainly tune into UCRL as soon as the CORE Xfinity Series is done here, to get you some more Xfinity action and some really good talented drivers over there in the UCRL Series as well. But we've still got 31 laps to go here at Dover, far from over. Alan Elwood trying to run away from this field, but Ethan Workman has been slowly reeling him back in. He was out to about a second lead and working through some lap traffic. It is now back down to 0.7, but we are nearing pit stops for the rest of the field. We already have majority of them coming in, and we've only got 12 guys right now on the lead lap. If a caution were to come out and Daniel Wiles peels off from inside the top 10, he is going to make his final pit stop, and that's going to leave 11 cars left on the lead lap. But Alan Elwood, Ethan Workman, Justin Mons, Shane Therian, and AJ Rada are your top 5 right now, with Ware, Klinger, Tilford, Stone, and Browder, your top 10. So once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Give a shout out to some of the ones that are always checking in here. And yeah, definitely. As we said, Barry, a little foggy out here tonight, but I think these drivers running around here are spin up the wind enough that the fog maybe seems to be clearing just a little bit out here. But shout out to Chris and John and Ricky and Parkles out there tuning in, as well as Casey Phelps, as we are now seeing our leaders come in to the pits to make their final pit stop, and a very, very aggressive entry there from Ethan Workman to try and gain a little bit of ground on Alan Elwood, as it looks like they are just about side by side, but they're still nose to tail. But Justin Mons, Shane Therian, and the rest of the top 7 still yet to come in. Mons coming into the pits, locks it up, and Ware was going to come in that time, but he's seen the spinning at 41, decides to stay out for another lap. That's certainly going to hurt him and lose some time for the 100. Hopefully he's got the fuel to make it around one more time, but that just plain sucks if you're the 100. I mean, he was all geared up to head into the pits, and then he sees the car sliding sideways and just immediately has to back out of it. And now he's going to do the same. He's going to keep it off the barrels, but he's going to be sideways on entry, and hopefully nobody else is coming in. He's going to get it back going, but man, just Dover being Dover right there. I mean, it's a horrible pit entry to get into. I've said it so many times, I'll say it 100 more. You have to practice this pit entry. I tell you what, even if you do, and I'm sure some of those drivers did, it's still not easy. It's still horrible to get in there. As we'll take a look at Justin Mons now coming in, staying on the track. Very late entry there, but he's going to get it down there. Browder locking it up behind him. He's going to get in there safely as well. And, I mean, keeping that thing straight, you probably gain it on the field. Just getting it in there. As that should complete, yeah, looking through it, that's going to complete our pit cycle. So we'll see where everything shakes out right now. Alan Elwood on the backstretch coming around. And it looks like everybody taking tires. We'll see if Stone and Browder elect to do a different strategy. But it looks like Alan Elwood is going to be back out the lead over Ethan Workman, who's right there in second back right now. Moultrie up into third place, about 5 seconds back, as he pit quite a few laps earlier, pitting on lap number 67. So certainly gained a lot of time, a lot of track position on the short pit, but not sure if he's going to have the tires now to work his way up through the top spots here. But with the pit cycle completed, we got Elwood, Workman, Moultrie, Foster, and Theory in your top 5, with Roderick, Klinger, Mons, Wiles, and Camper rounding out your top 10.
The monster. It doesn't quit either. Fog, no fog, sunny, rainy, that's the same.
Well, clearly we can see where Miles is hanging out right now. He's hanging out that pit entry, just throwing rocks at these drivers as they come into the pits, and throwing those water or sand barrels right there at the front entry. Certainly blaming a couple of drivers as well, but yeah, I mean, this track is treacherous. It's treacherous on the track. It's very treacherous entering pit lane. But as it stands right now, these drivers shouldn't have to come into the pits anymore, especially on the green. If we end up getting a late caution, I'm sure may see some drivers come in if they have any tires left. But Alan Elwood doesn't want to see any more cautions. He doesn't want to see that 25/20 get any bigger in his mirror either, as it is only 0.8 seconds right now as these drivers are working through traffic, and it is pretty hectic out there. You see like little patches of cars on your relative right now, or on your track map right there. And right now, these drivers are working through a little patch of fog for sure, but a little patch of cars. And now they are back racing once again, and we'll hop on board here with Ethan Workman to show you. There we go. Show you the distance. That is the distance to the leader, Alan Elwood. Both these drivers pitting on lap number 73. The man now in third, Shane Therian, moves his way past Mike Moultrie. Still got time, and he's got fresher tires than these two, pitting on lap number 75, 2 lap newer tires. It's not much, but it is a little bit, as 75 there of, here's my train of thought here, the 75 of Kelly Pointer moving on by your second place driver here, as Pointer last pitted on lap 75, so he's got a little bit fresher tires as well. But I'm really surprised that 2 lap newer tires mean that much. I mean, he closed in past Workman pretty easily. Now he closes right up on the back bumper of Elwood and starting to pressure him as well. And I got to think, if anything, this is really going to hurt Elwood, because if Pointer does get a run and go to pass him, all it's going to do is hold up that 5 a little bit more and let Workman close in here, as we have got 16 laps to go right now at Dover. And there you see the pass right there. The 5 giving him plenty of room to try and get a good run off the corner, get a little bit of draft. It's still going to be a half a second lead, but it's getting smaller by the minute. And we've seen Workman certainly be in the mix for quite a few races this season, last season. He's definitely a car to watch at the front. Has yet to grab a win here this season. So would love to break through here at Dover, but taking a look at that 5 of Elwood. He came out here, grabbed the pole for the very first race there at Las Vegas. He's also looking for his first win, as little bit of a chaos. There's a car coming into the pits, and Elwood ends up slapping the 78 going through the corner there. And now the lead is back to 0.4 of a second. I mean, lap traffic is not easy here at Dover, just like everything else. But I tell you what, we got a lot of cars that are down a lap now, as Workman going 3 wide on the bottom of Browder. He's going to get on by, and we've got 14 cars left on the lead lap, as Pointer is going to unlap himself the hard way. But this thing is coming down to the wire. 13 laps to go right now. And boy, I couldn't tell you who's going to win between Elwood, Workman, or Therian, as he is slowly reeling these cars in. He's in the hornet's nest right now. He's got a ton of lap cars around him right now, but he reeled this lead down to 2.7 before he got held up there a little bit by Dan Phelps coming out of the corners. He's got a few more lap cars to get on by, but he is definitely on the charge and starting to reel these boys in at the front, but it's going to be too little too late. Coming up on 10 to go very soon. The lead back out to about 0.7 of a second, but again, Elwood now dealing with Pointer, trying to put him back a lap down. And all this is doing is just letting Workman reel them back in just a little bit more. Mons blinking in and out there a little bit, and still blinking out. Hopefully he doesn't have any kind of issues as well, as he was definitely the hard charger here tonight, starting in 27th up to 6th place right now, but really dealing with some connection issues the way it seems. He keeps blinking in and out. I don't want to jump to him, as it's going to potentially hurt him anymore or not, but definitely want to stay off of him. We got 10 laps to go here after Elwood worked around Pointer. He is now starting to stretch out here a little bit. He is out to 0.9 of a second lead, and a 3.9 over Therian in third. I don't think Elwood wants to look back at this one. He's already probably thinking about Vegas and the nice run that he had there. He had the pole, but did not get the win. He wants to get the win here at Dover, wants to get back into this championship battle, and he is starting to stretch his legs here late in the race. 9 to go. It'll be 8 at the line. So much action and so much going on here with the pit stops and the strategies and everything else. Didn't even have a time to give everybody out there in CRN Nation a little love to hear it, but I mean, it's been too much going on here at the track, which is a good thing. A lot of action growing out here, and it's not done by any means. As taking a look here at Josh Klinger doing that battle with Justin Mons. This is back here for the top 5, as Mons is going to work around and get into the top 5 now around the 70 car, as got very close between the 10 and the 78 there in the background, but they're going to work through it and keep on driving. Back here, the guy that got really screwed on the pit strategy there, as he had to go around an extra lap and then got a little sideways himself coming in the pits. Still finds himself in the top 10, so a great run here. A great fight back here from the 100, as he's got some of the freshest tires in the field, and would love to run down and get another position before it's over. But either way, a top 10's got to feel pretty good considering the late race mishap here for the 100 team. But
anytime you can make a bad night into a decent night, Carl, I mean, it's, you know, it almost is as good as a win, you know, especially when you're chasing a championship, and you know you can win a championship on your worst night.
Well, and speaking of that, I mean, we take a look at 2 drivers right here. We've seen Joey Stone at the front and leading some laps here tonight. So we did talk about Joey Stone, but the man right behind him, the one he just passed, Cody Camper, typically a staple at the front and definitely a championship contender. Have not talked about him at all tonight, and it hasn't been, you know, a typical Dakota Camper night. He's been outside the top 10 majority of this race, and right now currently running in 12th, and got to hold off a charging Dave Tilford right behind him just to hold on in 12th place here tonight. So, I mean, if 12th is your worst finish for the year, it's not a bad thing necessarily, but a rough night here for Dakota. But out front, 2 laps to go this time by, as Alan Elwood is going to see the double candlesticks here. This time by 2 to go. He's got a 1.4 second lead over Ethan Workman and the rest of the field. Shane Therian's run seems to have halted a bit. He's now back there 6.8 seconds behind your leader. AJ Roderick moved himself into 4th place, Mons in 5th, but they are all chasing the 5 right now of Alan Elwood, heading out into 3 and 4. Going to see the white flag this time by. Elwood was certainly strong here tonight. He's seen his pole at Las Vegas not come to fruition, not getting him the win. Grabs another pole here tonight at Dover. This time it is going to pay off. Coming through turns 3 and 4. Just got to keep it straight, got to keep it on the even keel, and he's even going to let some guys go on past if he has to. Alan Elwood, your winner here tonight at Dover. Great run from the 5 team. The 20/25 of Workman going to finish in 2nd place. Another good run from Workman. Going to keep him right up there in the points. AJ Rodder, really good run for him as well. Finishing up there in 3rd as he got around Shane Therian at the end, and got to see that pass for 3rd place. As here on the back shot, it looks like Therian goes wide into turns 3 and 4. Not sure if that was a little team strategy call or not, but certainly banging doors coming to the line. So either way, I mean, if that was a strategy call, I'm not sure what the strategy was, considering Therian comes in here higher in the points certainly than Roderick, but either way, Roderick is going to be the one that grabs a 3rd place here tonight. Therian going to finish 4th and Mons in 5th. But what a nice little run here to finish off the race for sure. And it sees Alan Elwood grab his 1st win of the season, running it down here on the front stretch. Try and grab your top 3 here momentarily, and get to some quick interviews here as well. Just certainly jumping around here. I don't think my system likes Elwood doing the burnouts here, as it's getting a little skippy here on me, but congratulations certainly are due for the 5 team here, finishing in 1st, and then again Workman with another great finish there in 2nd place, and AJ Rodder grabbing his 3rd place. We'll try and get them in here to the broadcast waiting room and get them queued up for their interviews. And it looks like they beat me to the punch. They're already actually in there. So,
Always a good plus.
of course. All right, well, we will go ahead and jump to our 3rd place finisher here tonight, and that is going to be the 56 of AJ Roderick. And AJ, you were making your way up through the field there at the very end. You kind of snuck your way into 5th, didn't even see you in there, and then all of a sudden I look and I see you finishing in 3rd, and had to watch the replay of that final lap, and we see you pass your teammate there, Therian, in turn 3 and 4. I gotta ask, and I guess, you know, mum's the word if you can't talk about, but was there a little team play there to get you into 3rd, or was that Therian just completely missing the corner, not realizing you were back there, and you kind of snuck one up on him?
Well, a lot of it kind of played a role. Like right after that green flag stop, he was pushing super hard to try and catch Allen. And in those last few laps there, it was nothing but hearing him complain about how his right front was gone. So I had saved a little bit better than he was, and I don't know what he did, but he definitely missed that corner.
Yeah, he shot up there, and like I said, it was so much up there that's why I started questioning a little bit. Like, we got a little team play here, but then I'm like, wait a second, Shane's up there in the points. I don't think he wants to be giving up any kind of points like that. But I mean, heck of a race for you guys. Obviously coming in, 1-3-4, a great run for the team out there. I mean, it ended up being a bit of a crazy race with how the cautions came out and when they came out, and trying to figure out the strategy. So walk me through the race. What was it like out there?
Well, when we got that early caution at lap 18, we were all kind of yelling at each other whether to take tires, not to take tires, and then trying to figure out when's the next pit stop after that, like how far can we go. And we just we didn't take tires in the first stop, and then we just kind of let the race play out and see what happened. Once we got that second caution, we knew we could take tires then. And luckily, kind of went pretty green at the end there. So our tire strategy really worked out for us.
Yeah, absolutely. You grab a third place finish here tonight, so certainly a good run, and hopefully catapult you here as we come to the halfway point next week at Kansas. How do you feel about Kansas? It's a track that for a lot of guys here in CORE, they consider their home track. But what do you feel about Kansas? How do you think it's going to be out there? Do you think you have a chance to grab another podium, maybe a win?
I have the same attitude every race, and that is I'm probably not going to finish this one. Generally, the oval side of stuff, you can ask my teammates. It's generally pretty rough for me. I'm the reason that some of them are getting into GT3 racing because that's where I come from. So the fact that we're walking out of here with a third for me is like a huge win. Probably one of the biggest races I've had in a while, especially after last week with Dega and not being able to get that victory with the way that caution came out.
Yeah, Dega was Dega last week. It just is what it is. But
yep.
But you grab a good third place here tonight. So congrats on the third place. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I need to thank Roderick Racing Development, Simrep Market, Elwood Designs, and all my teammates, and then you guys up here in the broadcast being able to do this week in and week out for us.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming out here and the whole team obviously putting up a great result here tonight. So congrats for that. We'll let you go celebrate with the team, and we'll see you next week at Kansas.
Thank you.
That is your third place finish here tonight, the 56 of Alan Elwood. Second place tonight is going to be the 25 of Ethan Workman. And Ethan, back to your normal spot here. It seems like you're nice and comfy here in second place. This is your third second place of the season. I guess we can consider last week a second place, just a 22nd. Certainly not where you wanted to be last week, but I mean, are you happy with the run so far yet? Or is it start to get frustrating just coming in second?
I think it's a mixture of both. Like, I'm happy, I'm consistent. Like, I'm consistent at these tracks, getting good finishes, doing good in the points. But I mean, obviously, one side of me is gonna say, like, yeah, it sucks. I'm not winning these races, not getting it done. But Alan played a good race. He played good on his tires, and I just couldn't keep up with him at the very end right there.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like, kind of what the key was. I mean, you were starting to reel him in there, and lap traffic was definitely playing a part for sure as you guys were coming through a couple gaggles of cars there at the end, and it seemed like you'd reel him in a little bit, and then he had a bit of a battle with Kelly Pointer, one of the cars that just was fighting to stay on the lead lap, and it seemed like that was going to be your opportunity to catch back up, and he got to about 0.6 seconds back, and even up to, I think, a half a second back, and then as soon as he got away, he started gapping you.
Yeah, I saw, like, the way he exited pit road and the way, like, I got held up initially by a lapper. I was trying to save my stuff. I was assuming that he wouldn't save his stuff. He would try pushing to get away from me, but he ended up saving his stuff too, and even he saved his stuff even better than I did. So I give him mad props for that.
So obviously, all you guys have a drop race in the bag that is going to be used at some point for the year, and clearly your 22nd last week is going to be that drop race. So realistically, you're in the points lead here with your 3 out of 4 second place finishes here tonight. So obviously a great start to the season, and it just feels like it's a matter of time till we see you finally crack through and get that win. But how do you feel about the next couple races coming up? You got Kansas coming up next week, which is certainly one that is a favorite for some out there. But then Darlington right after that is not exactly easy.
I feel like I got my 2 favorite tracks ahead of me, and this is probably my time to capitalize at those tracks because I really like Kansas and Darlington on the schedule. And it's going to be hard, but I'm hopefully going to get it done at both of those tracks.
I would certainly help out and finally just crack through for this season, get that first win. But either way, congrats again on your second place and really doing well with the quality of field that we have out here and the size of the field that we have out here. It's not exactly easy. So congrats on the second. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
First of all, I'm just going to say I might as well be Kyle Larson. I might as well have second place as my home for now, 3 out of the 4. But also, first shout out, I'd like to thank my new team, Ancient World Gaming. Thank you for bringing me on and giving you guys a good result. It sucks I couldn't get it done, but I'm going to get it done some way. Second place is still a great finish for my first race on the team. And I also like to give a shout out to all my teammates in this race, Justin Mons for getting P5, Joey Stone for getting P11, and Tolowen getting P15. I know probably Joey and Tolowen probably didn't get the result that they wanted, but I feel like they had fast hot rods out there, and I'm proud of Justin for getting a top 5 right there. He played the same strategy I did.
Yeah, it worked out pretty nicely for both of you guys. So congrats again on another good run out here. We'll see if you can finally crack through at Kansas or Darlington in the following week. But either way, go celebrate this one, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much for the broadcast once again, Carl.
Absolutely. As your second place finisher here tonight, the 25 of Ethan Workman. Finally, the man at the top of the boards here is going to be the 5 of Alan Elwood. And Alan, you started off the season, it couldn't be any better. You grabbed the pole at Las Vegas, but the win didn't come to fruition out there in the desert. But here tonight, you figured, you know what, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to grab the pole, and tonight it paid off.
Yeah, had the green runs and stuff like that kind of fall our way. Vegas was kind of quirky with strategy and trying to kind of figure that out. But tonight it just seemed like, Dover's pretty, I would say short track because it's clearly not, but it's so quick. The cautions kind of planned it to where like you kind of knew, okay, I don't need to necessarily take tires right here. I could wait a little bit longer because chances are with Dover, you're probably gonna have at least one more caution. So to work it out and take tires a little bit later on to save that set for the end because you know you're gonna need it was key. So having the cautions fell the way that they did, and then have a long green run like that to the end worked out pretty well for us.
So obviously you're only 2 races on the season, being Vegas and Dover here. A third and a first is a pretty good showing for when you do show up. I got to ask you, looking forward here on the schedule, we got Kansas coming up, Darlington, and then the road course, the next 3. I'm sure your teammate there, AJ, is probably looking forward to Road America there a little bit, but what are some of the tracks on the schedule that you're looking forward to that you might be at and maybe make a run at a second win?
Kansas is okay. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably on the bottom of my list of favorite tracks. Especially in this car. It's just kind of meh to me. But moving forward, pretty much the rest of the schedule after that, I really like all the tracks. I've had success there in other leagues, and knowing what's to come. Road America is going to be definitely a challenge. You're going to have to keep it on track there for sure. But turning some laps with the GZ cars here, getting some laps on Road America is beneficial regardless of whatever car it is. So getting some laps there is good. And I really think Nashville Fairgrounds is going to be a good place for me. I've had some really good success there in the past, and I think it's probably number 1 on my list of places that I'm looking forward to.
So talk to Ethan a little bit at the fact that he's just racking up all these second place finishes. So he's gonna be looking good for the points with the 1 drop race being last week at Talladega for him. But you missing 2 of the first couple races here. You're gonna have 1 drop race that you don't have to worry about, but you get the other one that you're gonna be finishing outside the points. Do you still feel like you have a little bit in you to make a run at this championship, or do you feel like it's already too late?
It might be a little bit too late, to be honest, Carl. I want to say that I have a chance, but when you have 2 races missed, even with the drop, you have technically 1, and I didn't get any points for it. That's tough. Maybe with a few more wins, if we were able to rack off a couple more, maybe we'll have something in the bank for it. But ultimately, I don't know that, especially with Ethan, if he's finishing second every week, there's just no shot. So you can try to make what you want, but if he's right there with you, it doesn't matter. So in the end, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't miss any more races. I was away the last couple of weeks, but I'm back, and hopefully I can finish out the rest of the season and look forward to battling with him.
Absolutely. Well, either way, congrats on the win here tonight. You get it done when you do show up here. So congrats on that one. We'll see you next week at Kansas. But before we do, who you want to give a shout out to or thanks to in that 5 machine?
Real quick, just the team first off, third and fourth with AJ and Shane, and then Danny and Nico also being in the field. Nico was really fast. You might have been talking to him about a win tonight potentially.
Yeah, if his computer didn't say no.
Yeah, he's never dropped. I've never seen him drop out of a race once, and he just randomly had that happen tonight. So I feel really bad for him. He had good speed, but ultimately the team had a really good night. Simrat Market, of course, being the sponsor of the cars. You up here in the booth, Carl, appreciate you putting on the race, and everybody in the league, drivers, admins, everybody had a really good showing tonight. I think great race, and let's get on to Kansas.
Absolutely. Well, congrats again. Go celebrate with the team. You guys certainly deserve it after tonight's run, and we will see you next week at Kansas.
Sounds good. Thanks, Carl.
That's your winner here tonight, the 5 of Alan Elwood, and yeah, great drive by all of the drivers there in the SWM Motorsports. Thank you to everyone once again for tuning in here tonight. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And I definitely love seeing all the comments in there. And again, who you're rooting for, everything like that. We love to see that. We'll try and get them featured at some point or another on the broadcast. It was a little rough for the pit entry for some here tonight, and that really was the story point for some, and for some like Nico dealing with some internet connection gremlins here tonight. But it is Alan Elwood that gets to celebrate the win here tonight. We head on to Kansas Speedway next week, and I'm already looking forward to it. These guys have been putting on some great shows all season, and there's a ton of talent. And even though we've seen some of the same names up front week in and week out, there's still probably another 5-10 that could sneak up there and get a top 5, get a top 3, or even grab a win here on the season, as we've had 4 winners over 4 races, and I love seeing that. I love seeing the variety of different winners out here every week, and it just adds a little spice to the season for sure. But that is going to do it for the CRN team here at Dover Speedway. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week at Kansas. So for myself and Jimmy, we'll see you at the track.